I don't know what to talk about. What a way to start a video. I don't know what to talk about. I've been talking for the past few hours just out loud. Sometimes I just talk to myself because it feels good. It feels good to just release any of the thoughts that I have out there. I sound a little crazy right now, don't I? This is just what I do. I do this on a daily basis. Sometimes I spend hours just talking to myself or to others if they'll listen. I think that's the reason why I record, why I make videos, why I speak is because I just get to put my thoughts out there. And, the luck of it was that people actually liked what I had to say. Isn't that crazy? I'm a crazy person. I talk to myself, and other people relate to that. Other people relate to what I talk about. And I think that's just so cool that, no matter who you are, like, I think I'm a pretty normal, average person. No matter who you are, you can go online, go onto the internet, and express yourself. And I express myself through words. I express myself through talking. And, I'm lucky to say that I grew a pretty big audience in such a short period of time. But the thing is, I've been doing social media for 5 years. I started out with a Minecraft YouTube account, and I think I had 12 subscribers after about a month of doing that. And then I gave up because I was like, you know what? This is growing way too slowly. I do not have the patience to stick with this. I mean, I was 12, but that aside, I got into TikTok, making Minecraft videos on there. That was about the time that TikTok came out. And I started making Minecraft videos on there, and it blew up. It blew up so quickly. And after that point, I was hooked. There was nothing you could say that would have got me to stop. I was constantly creating videos, spending all day creating content on my computer and on my phone, and I didn't give up. For months and months, I was posting and I was going viral, and I eventually grew to around 400,000 followers, which is pretty cool to think about as a 14-year-old that I was able to do that. And of course, I had to brag to all my friends at school because I mean, isn't that so cool? People at school, they started recognizing me and the videos I made, and that just further fueled my ego a little bit at the time, and I kept doing it. But one day, I don't know what it was that set it off. I just stopped. If I have to guess, I think it was maybe the audience that I was targeting. As I was getting older, of course, 14, 15, I realized that the audience I was targeting was, younger people, like kids. And, as I was getting older, I wanted people to relate to me more, people around my age. So I switched it up. I made a new account on TikTok. I started posting the most cringy videos that I could come up with, relationship quotes, like, those relationship uh, pickup lines. I did lots of those, and that page blew up basically right away. And over the course of 6 months to a year, I grew it to almost 400,000. But then again, I was faced with that same dilemma that the audience that I was targeting was kind of not the audience I wanted, and the videos I was making was not really the videos that I wanted to make. And eventually I ended up stopping that account. I stopped posting, and I gave up on social media for a little bit. But that that internal urge was always there. That internal urge to post was always there. So, in the back of my mind, even though I wasn't posting, I still had that urge to create content. And I don't know where this urge came from. Maybe it was, the dopamine or the feeling I got from actually posting and, getting those results. Maybe that kind of fueled my fire a little bit. But I got back into it after a few months after giving up because, I was addicted. I'm going to be honest, I was addicted creating content. So I started up another page, And it was more of a spiritual type of page, because at that time I was kind of getting into the spirituality a little bit, thanks to my mom. And, it was interesting to say the least. But what I soon realized was that that just wasn't who I was. And I did that account for over a year, and I grew it to about 10,000 followers on TikTok and about 10,000 on Instagram. And, when I did hit that 10,000 on Instagram, I thought that was pretty cool. And I wanted to turn it into a business, maybe do some life coaching along with that. But I soon realized, again, after, doing my first call, that this is not what I want to do. So I completely stopped right after that. Just completely gave up on that dream of mine. And I started looking more within myself again and trying to figure out, who I am and what I want out of life. And, it wasn't until recently, years down the line, that I really discovered that what I wanted to do was just talk. And something about talking has always fueled me. I could talk for hours and hours and hours, and, if anything, it just gives me more energy. I don't feel tired from talking. And that's the crazy part, because, some people get exhausted from talking for, a pretty long period of time, but I could talk for hours and go on. I could go on all night, and I have before. I've had those conversations where they literally last like 6 or 7 hours. And, by the end of it, you don't want to go to bed. You don't want to go. You just want to continue talking. But, you know, I realized that that is who I am. I'm just somebody who likes to yap. I am just somebody who likes to express myself. And I realized that the best way for me to do that is through my words. And it just felt like me. So I started this page, Whiffin Thoughts. And as you know, today, that's what I've been doing. And I've grown it so fast. In a month of actually, consistent content and really improving on my work, I grew from basically 0 to 100,000 followers on Instagram. And that was like the tipping point where I realized, like, I am onto something here. Me yapping is so much more than just, me expressing myself. I'm creating an actual platform that I get to express myself on and people relate to. And the amount of support that I got from all of you guys has been amazing. And, when I did hit that goal of 100,000, I did kind of fall into that pit of, exhaustion. I kind of burned out a little bit because I didn't have any goals after that. I didn't know what I wanted to do after I hit 100,000. So, over time, over about another month after that, I just kind of made a video basically saying, I'm taking a break. And ever since then, I've been taking a break, posting here and there. But I just don't think I, was doing, how do I word this? I don't think I was fulfilling myself to the fullest. Once I hit 100,000, I realized it's not about the numbers. It's not about the followers. Like 100,000 is amazing, and that's a big accomplishment. But I realized in that moment that it wasn't about that. It wasn't about hitting 100,000 followers. So I took that break to kind of rediscover myself and figure out what I wanted to do with this account. And if I'm being honest, I think I figured it out. I know it's taken almost 10 minutes to get to this point, but I think I figured out what I wanted to do. I think I figured out what I want to do. And, there's been signs along the way from all of you asking me to start a podcast. So I think that's what I'm doing. I'm starting a podcast. It sounds crazy because, I'm quitting my job soon. And my job pays me about $8,000 a month. But it is the most soul-sucking job I've ever had in my life. And it actually sucks. I'm in a place I don't like. I'm living with somebody I don't like. And the whole atmosphere is just, it feels like hell. It feels like I'm going through hell. So I'm taking a step back. I'm going to focus on this for a month or two. And then after that, if I need to, I will get a job, of course, somewhere else and continue moving, down the line, down life, and continue moving forward, because really at the end of the day, that's all I can do. But what I've realized the past day or two is that this just feels so right. Starting a podcast. And I know I've had so many comments, so many people asking me to start a podcast. But my response was always that I don't want to start a podcast. And I just don't want to. I never really had a reason for it. I just felt like I didn't want to do it. But now that I think about it and that I've done the research, this is what I need to do, because this is everything that I could ever ask for, in the sense that I get to do what I love most. I get to talk. I get to talk, I get to make videos, I get to create content, and I get to share it with all of you. And there is nothing more fulfilling than that to me. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to start a podcast, and this is episode 1. This is video 1 of this podcast. And the podcast is, of course, called The Authenticity Project. It's been a name that's been stuck in my head for almost a year now, and I feel like it's time to really put that name to use, because this feels like the right outlet for that, The Authenticity Project. So this is episode 1 of The Authenticity Project. This is the beginning of something new. And I'm really excited to post these daily yaps, these daily talks on YouTube, on Spotify, and I'm excited to grow. I'm excited to hopefully one day take this full time, because I truly believe in my abilities. I truly believe that I will be able to take this full time one day, just because, I've seen success on social media and I know how to achieve success. So I'm going to stick with this as long as it takes. And I'm going to really grow this into a movement, into something more than just myself. And, that being said, when I really look back on this past year, it's been filled with so many ups and downs. But at the end of the day, I think I've grown more than I haven't. I've grown so much, and I've learned so much about myself, about who I want to become, that I'm not really worried anymore about other people's opinions. I'm just going to do what I want to do, because at the end of the day, this is my life. I know myself better than anyone else, so I'm going to live my life to the fullest. I'm going to really invest myself into this and just give it my all, because I have this vision in my mind that I want to happen. I want to come true, and I know it can. I just got to put in the work, and I just got to be consistent with it. So it's going to be a daily podcast that you could tune into and listen to every single day if you want to. And, if you do, I just want to say thank you. And if you're watching this video right now, I want to say thank you, because it's because of you that I get to do what I love to do. Because without you, I would not be able to do what I love. And, I guess with that being said, I think this is a great time to end this first video, end episode 1. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to me yap about, my journey of content creation and, figuring out what I want to do with my life. And, I hope to continue doing more of this each and every day, and just really just having fun, because at the end of the day, I love this and I have fun doing this. And no matter what happens, I'm going to do this because I love to do it. And if I were to die tomorrow, or die, next month, or, just die at some random point in time, really, I don't think I would be bothered by it, just because if I get to do this every day, then my life is fulfilling, and I'm going to feel fulfilled no matter what. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.